Hello, this is Craig from bitsbox.co.uk. In this video I'm going to talk about colour theory. More specifically I'm going to talk about complementary colours and how we can use these in our miniature painting and when it comes to deciding colour schemes, etc. So let's just crack straight onto it. I'm going to get up a colour wheel first. So for those of you who don't know much about colour theory, when it comes to finding complementary colours, you can use a colour wheel. Now there's another way of actually finding out complementary colours, and I'll show you that in the next part of this video. But first we'll just look at the colour wheel. So here is the colour wheel. It mainly consists of the three primary colours and the three secondary colours with obviously varying tones between them. So it's pretty basic stuff. We all know the primary colours are red, blue and yellow, and the secondary colours are purple, orange and green. These colours being mixes of various primary colours, of course. We all know that. At least I assume everyone should know that. That's pretty basic stuff. So the colour wheel is all about how we can use that to find different ways of how the colours are sort of related to each other. So for example, we're going to be talking about complementary colours here because when it comes to using colour theory in painting and for miniatures as well, I certainly use complementary colours more often than not. But you know, you can use triads as well, quite well for doing colour schemes, and maybe we'll have a little look at that as well. But complementary colours is sort of easiest to understand. So what a complementary colour is, they're essentially colours who are opposite each other on the colour wheel. So if you draw an imaginary line through the centre of the wheel, so let's say we start from yellow and then we draw that line down, we're going to go down to the purples. So that tells us that yellow and purple are complementary colours and they go well together in a colour scheme. And you may have seen yellow and purple used about before. Another one is like blue and orange, for example. Works really well as a colour scheme and they go well together. And of course red and green as well. So when it comes to like choosing a colour scheme for an army, you might want to use two complementary colours. Say you got green Space Marines, you could give them red shoulder pads or red trim, and that would work quite well. Red and green, if you use it too much though, you do start looking a bit Christmassy, but again, you know, Christmas is another good example of two complementary colours being used a lot together. So that's how we do it with the colour wheel. I'm going to just quickly show you my, I've got some paints on my desk using these colours, and I'll show you how we can use the colours to find the complementary colours without a colour wheel, and then I'll talk a bit more into how else we can use them in regards to painting and mixing paints as well. So here are our paints, of course, blue, red and yellow primary colours and secondary colours of purple, orange and green. So as I said, there's a quick way of finding out the complementary colours. We assume you know how the mixes of the colours work, which I'm sure again most of you do, but for those who don't, blue and red makes purple, red and yellow makes orange, and blue and yellow makes green. And why is this important? Well, let's say for example we want to find out the complementary colour of red. The way you would do that is you would take the other two primary colours and you would mix them together to make green. So you know that red and green are complementary colours, and it works the other way as well. So say you want to find the complementary colour of purple, you know that purple is a mixture of blue and red, so that leaves you with yellow, so purple and yellow are complementary colours. So that's how, I'll put them back in any order, that's how, let's get them back. So that's how it works. That's one easy way of finding that out without using the colour wheel all the time. So just as long as you know what your primary colours are and what colours they make when mixed together, you can just easily get your complementary colour like that. So apart from maybe using them for colour schemes, what other uses do we have for complementary colours and colour theory? I apologise, my chair is just so squeaky, as regular viewers will know. Well, you can use it in your painting. So, for example, one thing I do a lot is I actually shade a lot of my reds with greens. And I could show you a little example. So I do have a Stormcast guy here. He's pretty much finished, but we'll add a little bit more depth to his cloak. So I'm going to take some Euphonian camo shade, and I'll just mix some up. Obviously we're on a palette here, so stick some on the palette. Now you can paint this. I haven't finished like this area on the back, but you can paint this into folds. I hope you guys can see this okay. But I'm just going to paint this into a fold just to deepen up them shadows, and you see it takes on quite a good appearance. If you're using like a dark colour for your shadows, obviously you don't want to use a bright green because it won't look very natural, but like a dark green wash really helps deepen them shadows, and it looks quite nice. So that's one way you can use it. That's certainly the way I use it the most. It doesn't always work the other way. You wouldn't. Well, I suppose you could use some green. If you really sort of glaze down a green, you can add it into. Not a green, sorry, a red. You could do it on some green, but it wouldn't work as well as obviously doing it this way. I've also used blue, as it's very close to green, for reds as well, and it works quite well to shade orange. Another thing you can do is you can mix the colours together. So we've got blue and orange, for example. So I'm going to take some of this Calidor Sky and put it on my palette. Just rinse over the brush. Take some Troll Slayer Orange. I'm going to mix it into the blue. I'll show you what sort of colour get out of that. Obviously we don't want too much, but we want enough. So we can mix that into the blue. As you can see, it takes some of that brightness away from the blue. So mixing in your complementary colour can dull a colour down without really changing its property too much. This blue, as you can see, this orange really actually makes quite a nice colour. I quite like that. But it doesn't make it like super dark. Not like adding in Blackwood, for example. So if you wanted to shade some Calidor Sky, maybe mix in some orange with it, and you'd get this lovely sort of darker blue that you can use. That's really nice. I might have to try that on a miniature actually. So I haven't actually done it with the blue and the orange mix before. Not recently anyway. So yeah. So that's another way you can do it, and we'll use another colour going the other way. And of course, really having just the primary colours and a white and a black, you can mix almost any colour. And I do want to do a video on that in the future, just using 5 colours to paint a whole miniature. So we're going to put some yellow into the orange. You can see I've probably put in a bit too much this time, as that's gone more yellow than purple. I think I said orange before, didn't I? I mean purple. Really, when if you look too much the other way, then you're essentially changing the colour of the yellow then. So let's say we've put a little bit of this in to the purple, and that just that's darkened that up, as you can see, or darkened it down. And again, like just mixing in a little bit of yellow can give you a really nice darker shade of purple. And I'm doing it this way, obviously putting in too much yellow. I've essentially got a yellow with purple to make a darker yellow. But yeah, that's so you can use complementary colours to make darker tones to use for shading also. So yeah, we'll just go back onto the colour wheel, and I'll also just show you the triads as well. So with triads, you essentially split the circle of the colour wheel into 3 equal parts, and what you'll notice is you'll essentially get the 3 primary colours, or the 3 secondary colours, and then all the various tones in between them. It's easier to do this on a colour wheel if you want to get like sort of various different shades of each colour. So if you want like a sky blue would complement well with a darker yellow and a sort of mid-tone purple, whereas like a bright yellow would be like with a mid-tone red and a darker blue, for example. But yeah, triads are also used quite well for colour schemes like that as well. Of course, you don't have to use all 3 of the colours. You could just pick 2 that you like the look of. I first used the colour wheel for colour schemes when I did some tau, and I think I did them like mainly white, and I added like some sort of pinky, sort of purple colouring with them. And by using the colour wheel, I found that sort of the pink tones complement well with like a bright green, like a really light green. So I did the white, purple and the green, and it looked quite good. So yeah, if you want to be really more precise with the shades, then definitely use the colour wheel. But if, like I say, if you haven't got it there, you can just use your 6 primary and secondary colours. So that's just a little basic look at colour theory. I'm sure some of you may already know this, but for those who this is new for, I hope you do find it useful. It's particularly good, as I said, when it comes to picking colour schemes and mixing colours together for different shades and tones, etc. I do find it quite useful. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please feel free to check out some of our other videos. You can also subscribe to our channel or check out our Patreon page. So thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.